Hey, it's HighTechDad, and today we are looking at the Prius V by Toyota. This is the 2012 model, and you've probably seen a lot of Priuses out on the road. This one is a little different than many of the ones that you've seen. This is actually has a larger body altogether, and it is extremely roomy actually, and it's got a ton of cargo space. So we're going to take a look at this, take a look at some of the tech, take a look at some of the other features that make up the Prius. And let me tell you, this day and age with gas prices so high, the Prius is really a good car to take a look at if you're looking to save some money at the pump. So this particular Prius retails for about $37,000. This has got 17-inch alloy wheels. Obviously it's got the hybrid engine, so with a hybrid you're using a combination of both gas and electric to power the vehicle. So like if you're driving in city or slow traffic, you may kick into the electric motor, and then when you're on the highway or accelerating, you're going to have the gas engine kick in. One thing I wanted to highlight here, like I mentioned, is the amount of space that you have here. As you can see, these seats have a ton of legroom, and this is really great for any adults who are traveling. And there's still a ton of legroom for the front as well. Another nice thing is these seats do tilt back, so you can actually recline a bit with the rear seats. So the lever there lets you recline it back, so very comfortable. So you can see there with the rear hatch open, there is a lot of room to stash all of your goods when you're traveling around. And the seats do flip down to make it flat so that you have even more space to put in luggage or other things that you're traveling with. This is the hybrid engine here. You can see it's a hybrid synergy drive, Toyota's drive here. So one thing that you will notice actually is that there isn't too much insulation for the engine itself, and so this is one little complaint that I did have, is that when the engine does kick on, and I'm not talking about the electric one, I'm talking about the gas one, you do get some engine noise, especially when you're accelerating, and also when you hit the power button, which I'll show on the interior controls. So it's not a fast car. You're really just trying to get the best gas mileage you can out of it, and but it still does its job. So the Prius gets an estimated 40 highway and 44 city. Normally you get more on the highway, but since this is a hybrid car which has electrical power driving it, you're going to get much better gas mileage around the city. So I've been averaging probably around 40 miles to the gallon, and you can always check to see where you're coming in by using the touch screen here. So I'm hitting the info apps and fuel consumption app here. You can see if I were driving, it would show the flow of power, you know, from the battery or from the engine, or going in both directions. There is power generation from braking as well. So let's take a look at the fuel consumption here. So you can see on average I've been getting around almost 41 miles to the gallon, and that's both city and highway. And then my recent trips, you can see I was doing pretty well, doing some freeway driving, getting over 100 miles to the gallon. You can see there are some little E's on here, and that's when the electric vehicle kicked in, and that basically bumps up the gas mileage as well. So to quickly go through some of the car tech here, for me, I felt that the technology, while it's not too bad, you do have a lot of great features in here. I think it's time for Toyota to maybe upgrade some of the interfaces a little bit. There's a little bit of a inconsistency between what you see on the speedometer area, which is right up here, the main informational display, and then the climate controls. It all seems somewhat jointed, but a little bit more disjointed than all together. But you do have full controls on the steering wheel, so you can adjust volume, the mode of the radio, that sort of thing. It's got voice recognition with your Bluetooth connected device. It does also have sort of radar assisted cruise control, which adapts, so it's an adaptive cruise control. If you set a padding between the car in front of you and the speed that you want to have, the car will automatically accelerate or decelerate to keep that distance and that speed. You can adjust climate controls here, you know, your displays and trip odometer, and make recycled air. So one thing about the Prius, if you've never driven one before, it's going to take you a few seconds to figure it out. So this is the main shifter, and you do have to turn the car on and get it into gear, you do have to have your foot on the brake, and then you set it and you can put it into gear and turn it on. But again, you do have to have your foot on the brake to get it started. And then to stop, you do have to push the power button or the park button here, and then turn it off with the power. And there is a very small pedal down at the bottom for the brake, which is right down in there. There is a parking assist, so if you're trying to parallel park or look for parking spaces, you can use this button and it'll assist you with a lot of that. There's some fog light buttons as well. It has automatic headlights, and the radio a little less intuitive than I would like to cycle through. You do have to reach way over to tune to different channels and that sort of thing. It's a little difficult to find a particular genre. So this is one of the areas where I wish that Toyota would actually upgrade their interface to make it a little bit more intuitive. In terms of the climate control, this is a little bit more intuitive. Most of the time you're going to leave it on auto, but if you want to change the mode, you either move it back and forth, so you can turn up the fan that way, and you can adjust the temperature, and then you can adjust the mode where you want how you want the air to flow. So that's pretty intuitive. Some other nice little features, so it does have heated front seats. It's got your power port in here. It's got auxiliary USB there. It has two glove compartments, so one on the top and then one on the bottom. Interesting place for a cup holder, but this is pretty convenient. There are lots of cup holders throughout. Sound system's pretty good. It's powered by JBL. It's fairly decent. You can do Bluetooth audio streaming. You can also even put in a CD. The whole front here slides down, so you can put in a CD there. As I mentioned earlier, there are 3 modes that you can do. So most of the time you're going to leave it in eco mode, which will automatically select either electric mode or gas hybrid mode. If you're cruising around the city and you have a full power, you can see the battery charge is right up here. You can click on EV mode and it'll pretty much do electric vehicle only, but then shift over to gas if you really don't have enough or if you need more power. And then speaking about power, if you're climbing the hill and you're in eco mode, it's a little slow, not a little underpowered, but that's again pretty typical of hybrids. You'll want to click on the power button here and it'll give a lot of extra oomph to your engine. Go full gas engine. It is a bit noisy, but it'll get you up the hill a little bit faster. The Prius also has a really nice rear view camera. It shows you the different paths here. If you're going in reverse, what direction you're going to go. If you're going to be hitting something, it'll give you an indication that you're going to be crashing into some sort of an obstacle, and it shows you your turn path and that sort of thing. So the biggest pluses of this 2012 Toyota Prius V is obviously the room in the cabin, the amount of leg space down here. Another nice thing, if you look up here, there's a button to open the sunroof, and these are really just moonroofs, and it really gives a nice spacious feeling to the cabin. So you can see they're dual moonroofs. This part doesn't open, but still gives you a really good feeling. And the interesting thing is when you power off the car and lock it, these will close automatically. So like if you're parked in the hot sun, it's going to keep your car cooler, which then saves you money when you have to cool it back down. Overall, I really like the Prius V. It's very roomy. I would like to have a little bit of an upgrade on the tech, but for the most part, you're not paying for the tech, you're paying for the tech actually in the hybrid engine and getting 40 miles to the gallon in a day when gas prices are over $5 a gallon. So if you want to read more about the Prius V, you can go to my website, and that's at www.hightechdad.com. And if you have any questions, you can ask me on Twitter, and I'm at HighTechDad. And if you want to check out my Facebook fan page, that's facebook.com/HTDblog.